So what is a troll? We always have to discuss that first because people go off on ontological tangents about it. Is it a monster? A troll. Well, that's a little bit too rough of a term. It doesn't get enough detail in that metaphor. It only demonizes them. The real origin of the term, of course, is trolling fishing. You know, imagine I put a graphic here with the guy in a boat and he's fishing. And he's got his hook in the water and he's just trolling along. And that's the sense in which it's not personal. They're just trying to get a response. Now, what does it mean in this metaphor to catch something? Well, that's to annoy them, to push their buttons. Not mere aggravation, right? Though some trolls are stupid enough not to get this point. But, you know, if you just poke someone with a stick, of course, eventually they'll come kick your ass. You didn't really push their buttons per se, or if you did, it's a universal thing where eventually you protect yourself. So it's more like buttons where a person didn't have to react that way. They've overreacted. You just push their button. That's what trolls want. Okay, so trolling is psychology. All right. Now, if you are dealing with someone trolling you, and you need to interpret their comments, not as comments on the subject matter, as I've said many times before, you have to interpret their comments as scans. Their comments are like the blip, blip, blip. Let's say a giant smoke monster comes and up to you and engulfs you and scans you. Zzz, laser light, scan, three-dimensional, flash through all your memories, you know. This is what they're trying to do, and their comments are just bleep, zzz, just the sounds of a scanner. All right. This is why the first rule is always don't feed the trolls. Because when you put a comment on the internet, you're already opening up to the trolls. This is the problem with the idea is that, well, maybe you shouldn't speak at all. Now, if you know the subatomic laws of trolldom, then you can speak to the trolls sometimes, and this is what I'm going to describe to you. But when you post something on the internet, you're already self-selected of a group that has opened themselves. You know, you've opened and you've put your fingertips onto your keyboard. Oh, look, culinaryfavorites.com forum. Oh, awesome. Oh, I like pie. Well, right then, the troll already has the first information that they need to try to scan you. Pie sucks. And you're like, pie sucks. Pie does not suck. My mother and my grandmother made pies, and I spent so many wonderful days eating pie on my grandma's porch, and it made me the person I am today, and I'll have you know I'm a very good person. Okay, so the troll has just gotten some information. They don't care about pie. They've just got some information. And now it's, well, your grandma sucks too. And how could you say this about my grandma? Family is very important. I'll bet you have no family. You're probably in a dysfunctional family. And once again, it's probably true, but the troll is only looking for the information. Now he knows that your pie is associated with your parents and your warm fuzzies from your childhood. Now he knows that you think family is really important. You can send back, your family is known pedophiles in your area. And it could just go on and on and on. And he doesn't care about any of these things. He doesn't have an opinion about what your family is like or whether grandmas are good. He may or may not have a good relationship with his grandma or something. Probably some dysfunction in their family. I mean, I found that to be an anecdotally personal statistical kind of a guess at it. But you don't even really know that because it's just a hobby. They could just be, you know, budding psychologists. Because they're just probing. All you could really know is they're probing your psychology. So what is the defense against this? Okay, well, you need to know where your buttons are. Okay, and then you might have to change some of the access, change the kind of button you put there. But you're going to need to know where your buttons are. And this is a big problem. A lot of people don't. But if you don't know where your buttons are, you probably, good chance you're going to be fucked. Any one troll will not be that adept at finding your buttons because we sort of naturally hide them. But eventually one of the even stupid trolls will come along just statistically that happens to look there. Or an expert troll will come along that is a lot better at scanning you than you realize, because a lot of the lower trolls are doing this semi-unconsciously, whereas an expert troll knows they're doing a psychological scan, and their buttons are behind steel casings. Just the most. It tends to be that it's hard to push a troll's buttons because they're so sensitive. It's not that they're insensitive. It's that they're so sensitive they put a tough skin over them. You know, they were bullied or whatever it was. They put a steel casing over it, and now they feel invulnerable. Okay. So one thing you need to do when you're being probed by a troll is you can't give honest responses. Okay. You're gonna have to act angry when you're not really angry, and you're gonna have to totally blow off things that infuriate you, right? And you're gonna have to choose which things are substantial enough that it's not a waste of your time. You're not just pretending to be bothered by them, you know. But you're not really that bothered, but you take them as a symptom. So, for example, I give trolls certain ways to annoy me, you know, to like in an inoculation, you know, to annoy me enough that I could see, look, he's here's some information, he's just using it to be a jerk. I could see that, and then I know they shouldn't get real information that might actually matter to me. And you want to choose these points where, you know what, it does bother me, just on principle. If I say, you know, stop talking to this person who says you're harassing them, and they just, you know, then they start responding, talking, you know, so they don't really talk, but, or just any little thing that's just too annoying. It's like, well, it's just a small annoyance. I can easily ignore it, and in my regular life, it's, you know, I'm not letting it have an impact on me. But when I'm considering it analytically, and it gets sort of blown up to, well, what are the principles of this? I see, well, no, that's fucked up. And so I honestly can say that's fucked up, and I can honestly have a lot of emotion about it. And yet the troll still hasn't seen what really bothers me if you were to attack me about it. I think right now it's almost nothing, you know, I that could push my buttons in online. I have too much control of the situation. In real life, yeah, but even then, I'm pretty in control of myself. But online, I just don't see it. The only things that could go in that direction are just serious things. You know, if somebody shows up at my door, we got a real situation. You know, pushing my buttons or not doesn't even matter anymore. You know, if somebody's going to break the rules of my personal sovereignty or drop docs or anything like that, then you know, you have material grounds for calling the police. You know, I'm not too proud to do that either. So basically, you don't want to pretend to be mad usually about something that doesn't bother you or affect you at all. What you want to do is you want to take your list of annoyances that you're willing to address online. So going up to the tiny little buttons that don't really matter. Someone goes click and you're like, oh, I hate when somebody says the word etc., etc. Oh, I hate that. And I told them, but they keep doing it. I know they're just doing it to bug me. But whatever. There's people that do it just because that's the way they say it, and I don't mind it when they do it, so whatever. And I can blow that off. But I see, you know, that they're doing. So that's at the low end of choose legitimate grievances, but get more upset about ones that don't bother you. You know, act more upset. And also, there turns out there's ways where you can act more upset to the troll, the way the troll thinks. You can say, fuck you. Whereas people that you actually converse with know that it's just how you're reacting to a troll. You can do that. That's good writing. But anyway, all the way to the level of where, no, this actually does bother me. Like people being racist. Okay. On the other hand, I will block with none of my usual, but free speech. You know, and so it doesn't really help someone to go there. But that's another one where, no, I don't have a politically correct kind of urge. I literally want to make a statement about that. So that's like the most serious. But like things about my own life, you say something where I think, oh yeah, I'd like to see you try. You're not going to see that in print. You're never going to see that in print. And a lot of my demeanor online is because of 25 years of figuring this out. You know, this is what you can use trolls for. It's to help you figure out where your buttons are, because you need to be doing that anyway.